Let's get started.
Imagine this situation. You're in a room filled with people. You look at who is around you and you start to get uncomfortable, but you're not sure why. You realize that no one in the room looks like you. At this point, you feel like you need to get out because you don't belong here. This is the reality for so many women who are pursuing STEM fields. Women will go to their engineering or computer science classes and find themselves in a room filled with men. In order to explore the experiences of female STEM students, I talked to a professor with over 20 years of teaching experience, Dr. Suzanne White-Brahmia.
Hi, Professor Brahmia. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. So I just have a few questions for you. First, could you just introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Suzanne Brahmia, and I started my teaching career in the Peace Corps in Central Africa. I was a high school teacher of physics, and then I spent 23 years at Rutgers University teaching a course for mathematically underprepared students in engineering, which basically meant students who placed into pre-calculus coming from low socioeconomic status high school in general. And I currently am a professor at the University of Washington, and I have been teaching the calculus-based physics course there.
So you're a female physics professor. Can you think of ways that this has had a positive impact on your students?
Sure. The course that I taught at Rutgers had a higher percentage of female students in it. And, you know, over the years, through research and anecdotally, students have told me that they felt inspired to be able to do well because they figured if I could do it, they could do it. And in the top 10% of that class every year, there was a higher percentage of women than men, a higher representation of women than there were in the class overall. So the women tended to do well. I also, as a Muslim, I wore a headscarf for about 10 years at that time and started to wear a headscarf right around 9/11. So I was a woman in that position, and especially in that part of the country where it was a very a hard time for everybody. And I think that I was perhaps the only Muslim that many of the students in the class had ever met, and it was a very positive experience for them and positive experience for me. I think it helped break down a lot of barriers and inspire. I had a lot of a good number of Muslim women in my class who felt inspired and supported and encouraged, especially during a time where that was hard to find. So that certainly had an impact. And then at the UW, I've had female engineering students come and tell me they felt especially inspired and encouraged having a woman lecturer in their physics course.
So do you think that being a woman in physics is difficult?
Yes, physics is a male-dominated community. There is a small percentage of women, and as a result, it can be very uncomfortable and difficult in a professional setting.
How do you think the culture can change to help current female STEM students who are going to be entering the field soon?
Well, I think to start with, the more women that are in the field in positions of power, the more likely it is that the culture will change. But I think that seems very slow and passive. I also think there's a lot of good work being done in terms of reframing what it means to be good at physics, reframing what it means to be successful, moving away from only super competitive kinds of measures and looking at more collaborative kind of learning environments in which have been shown to be certainly more effective in the long term in terms of group functioning and productivity and all sorts of things that we value. And I think that the ways of learning and the ways of knowing in physics in particular, but in other STEM disciplines also, are broadening to include much more student-created knowledge as opposed to sort of handed down knowledge and just environments that take advantage of the fun of productivity that women bring, sort of stereotypically bring, I guess, but but that they bring to an environment that helps the environment be more productive and inclusive.
Do you have any advice to female STEM students that might be thinking about switching out of the major?
Find a mentor and don't be shy to ask some hard questions. That you have the right to be there, that it's your place, and you can create a safe space for yourself and a comfortable space for yourself. STEM communities are interested in changing in general from the inside out, and I see a very bright future for young women who will go ahead and take those steps and just expect that they belong in those communities and they can help create a better one.